Today, class, we are going to learn about hyperboles. What is a hyperbole? A hyperbole is an exaggerated statement or claim that is not meant to be taken literally. Hyperboles can be used to emphasize a point or to create a lasting impression. Some examples of hyperboles are, there's enough food in the cupboard to feed an entire army, I died of embarrassment, I'm drowning in paperwork, and I am so hungry I could eat a horse. So these are all hyperboles because they're exaggerated statements or claims, and they should not be taken literally or taken word for word. Examples of hyperboles from Walk Two Moons. Sal says, you could have knocked me over with a chicken feather. The Ohio Turnpike, which is the flattest, straightest piece of road in God's whole creation. It was as if someone had ironed out all the rest of South Dakota and smushed all the hills and valleys and rocks into the spot. The sky was so low that you might bump your head on it if you were not careful, and so low that people sometimes disappeared right up into it. Examples of other books or genres where hyperboles are very important. Hyperboles can also be used in essays, poems, stories, advertisements, songs, and movies. Some examples would be like from Act 2 of Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. The first and final line say, the brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, and the last line says that birds would sing and think it were not night. Movies, To Infinity and Beyond from Toy Story, You Sit on a Throne of Lies from Elf, or I Am the King of the World from Titanic. Those are also examples of hyperboles. And advertisements, Red Bull gives you wings, and when you're here, you're a family, which is the Olive Garden advertisement, is a hyperbole as well. How will I teach students about hyperboles? Teachers should show students a variety of examples of hyperboles that have been used in everyday language or literature. Make sure students know that hyperboles should not be taken word for word. Students could draw a picture of what the sentence is describing or saying in order to visualize and understand this better. I could try to relate hyperboles to how students may talk sometimes, especially when they are being sarcastic. I could show students how the example is being exaggerated. For instance, if a student says, I have a ton of homework, I could ask them if they really have a ton of homework, like weight-wise, because ton is in weight, or if they're just emphasizing the amount of homework they have. And finally, once students understand what hyperboles are, I could have them try writing some examples of hyperboles on their own. Some pictures or graphics of hyperboles. I put a picture where it says this bag weighs a ton because it's a huge bag, and he's saying it's weight-wise a ton. My feet are killing me. Your feet are not literally killing you. It's an exaggeration. And there's also some other examples over it on the other box, like Cry Me a River, which I will talk about on the next slide. So graphic organizers that will help teach hyperboles. I like the first one because it gives you the definition of hyperboles and then gives you a few examples and what the hyperbole actually means. So like I said, Cry Me a River actually means crying for a long time, or like I said earlier, weigh a ton means very heavy. And then the other graphic organizer I chose was from Teachers Pay Teachers, and it has the definition of hyperbole and the word up in a box on top, and then it gives you a few examples so students can understand it better, and then gives you a few examples of what students should not put for sentences, and then it helps them guide them on how to form a hyperbole on their own. And then on the back, they can write their own hyperbole. They can draw a picture of it to kind of visualize it. And then they can discuss and explain why their hyperbole, or what their hyperbole literally means. So that's what hyperboles are.